we'll get rock and rolling. So congrats, we're super closely done with all of the book stuff. Now, as Dick said, now it gets into the fun stuff of the application. And again, it's going to take some time. It's like any other skill set in life that you're learning for the first time. It's going to be a little bit difficult. And again, our bigger goal is to try to give you a lot of keys and mental preparedness to the same thing we were just talking before we got on the call of there's a lot that is going to go on and there's a lot of things you're going to forget. As well prepared you think you are in your first game or second game, there are going to be instances where you do not get things and you don't see everything and you also forget stuff. I always tell the very limited story. The first game I ever did was awesome veteran official said, you just stay on that side of the field and all you got to do is blow the sideline and then we'll figure it out with the second quarter. And then you can blow goals and then you can also say if there was a push and then you could do a face off. And then the fourth quarter, he was like, you can throw a flag if you see something. I was like, yeah, we can do it, right? We're going to do this. We're working up. And we got to that and I saw the biggest slash I've ever seen still in my life. And the kid decapitated the other kid. And I threw my flag and I was so excited. I'm like, I'm going to get this call. And the flag went up high and didn't get stuck and it was perfect, right? And the play went on and on and on. And about 2 minutes went off the clock. That was back in the day. Eventually hit the ball. And I run over to my partner. His name was Penny. And I go, hey, Penny, I got a slash on white. It's 1 minute, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, awesome. What number? And that's exactly what I did, right? I had nothing, right? Absolutely nothing on that. And he goes, you got to give me something, right? Just, I don't care, pick it up. And I go, it was 54. So he goes over and goes 54 white slash 1 minute, get in the box, right? And the same thing goes, sir, the coach goes, sir, are you sure that is the correct number? He goes, I need 54 in the box. If you give me lip, you're going to be thrown out of this game, right? And it's a blowout game, everything else. There was a 54. He was on the bench. He was the third string goalie who had a broken foot, was in crutches, and had his jersey on. I shit you not. And so he made him crutch over. And I swear we were out in South Bend, Indiana, and he crutched in. And he made him sit in the box. Best partner I've ever worked with, right? It said, comes back, he goes, good call. Bad number record. And so I purposely tell that of the same thing of you're going to work up, you're going to forget things, right? And then you're never going to forget that either, right? So it still happens. It just happened on Saturday too. Sometimes you forget the number, you can't see it. Use your tools, use your keys, use the best you can on everything we do. So that's what we're going to try to teach you tonight on a lot of the stuff of to not get kind of bogged down, but remember the keys that we're looking at. Very quickly on that too. Just to again show you, I sent out the email to everybody through Arbiter. Again, once we get done with our training, everything is going to go through Arbiter on those emails where they're not going to be direct from my Yahoo account. But again, you now have access to the rule book as well. You're going to get a physical copy when we go to the physical clinic. Again, you're going to log into that NFHS.org, and then it's going to log you into a weird screen that is essentially going to go to your account. This is where I got lost because I didn't know where to go after this. What I either did was I re-entered this hyperlink, allaccess.nfhs.org, and it brought me to the rule book, or and this was tough to find because it doesn't stick out right away, under resources, then all access. Then sometimes it will load, it will not load. I also clicked on buy subscription. 2 of you text me about that. It took me a bit, but you should eventually then see the My Publications and then underneath be able to see the rule book, and then brings you to an e-reader, which you can then do on an iPad. You can obviously do on a desktop or a laptop, and then you can also download the app, which is All Access as well, to access on your phone. Questions on that? Were any of us able to access or not access? Do we have any issues?
Hey Rob, I was able to get into My Publications, but I don't have anything listed underneath publication or available through so I don't have.
Got it. Okay, so we can take a look. And you use this, I know this is a silly question, you use the same email that you use for Arbiter, right?
Correct.
Okay. Correct. Anybody else have that issue or not issue? Oh, Sean, you're muted.
I tried it, but it kept asking me for a subscription.
All right.
But I'll try it again after the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's double check. It's all tied to that same email, whatever the Arbor one is. Same
Mhm.
thing. John and I had issues because it was a username, not an email at some point too. So it's this is the first year everybody's using this all access as well. So just the same thing. If you're having issues, let us know. We'll try to resolve it as quick as we can so we can get it to you. Those are the ways that I got it. If that makes sense. I tried to purposely go through a couple different ways. So that way, and Dick is very good at doing this too on purpose. We try to like sign out, re-sign in, try different methods for you to see which avenue you're going through. So where you guys are having headaches as well. Um,
One comment on it is
yeah.
this is the same as the printed copy, so there are errors in the digital version as well. They didn't fix them. So just giving you the heads up on that.
Yeah, and same scenario with last night. And again, we'll kind of go over some of the major emphasis in the clinic. In my opinion, don't get super worried about any of the clerical errors in the book. Like obviously, if something doesn't make sense, ask us. Like if it's a word to team B and the rule states something different, ask us. But don't necessarily get caught up as John and I had this discussion today of at no point, and I'm sure Coach Graham will say the same thing, at no point are we going to recite the entire rule book verbatim at any point, nor a coach is going to do it back. We're going to know parts, right? And you need to know, and again, that's going to be the theme for this year is the keys, the keywords, the key elements, parts that we can recall from memory very quickly. And so again, there's going to be slight nuances, and sometimes, and this is where John and I very healthily argue on items too, and we don't necessarily always take the same side of sometimes the book says something and then there's game management as well. So we're not going against the rules and making things unsafe, but sometimes you just want to do right by the game, if that makes sense. So we're going to blend things together on purpose so that way the outcome comes the way it was. Again, a very quick example of that was by rule on a Wednesday night game that happened that was on TV and everything else is that by rule this should have happened, but for game management the officials called it a error by them as versus the coach inappropriately calling a timeout because the coach would have went ballistic in a super close game and the ball was in flight when the whistle blew. So it was, do we turn it over and do we make a big scene about it, or do we simply give it, to the team that should have gotten it, and then everybody was happy and both coaches calmed down very quickly and nobody seemed to know any different, right? By rule, they were 100% incorrect. Game management wise, 100% correct, if that makes sense. So little simple things like that. Don't get overly into the weeds on stuff, especially when we're starting out. So
There
just
is
quickly, oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry. There's so for the download for the, if you have like an iPhone, the app, it's NFHS All Access. So, nobody just types in All Access. It's NFHS All Access.
Thank you. And that's I used the link for that came in the email, I think yesterday as well. So that one should go right to the app. So depending, Apple or Google. Awesome. So the same thing. A couple of you have asked, a few of you text me as well. Especially if you're newer to best thing, just start watching games as well. It doesn't matter what, just you can YouTube them. You don't have to watch Notre Dame, Georgetown, right? And figure out what the technicalities in overtime are, right? In scenarios like that, just watch stuff. And get familiar. And the more you get familiar, and again, there's a ton of stuff on YouTube. Tim's website with Texas Lacrosse Association, Oregon's very big, Eastern Mass, the Carolina ones, Tampa is good. We're trying to get there as well. But there's a lot of people who have been putting stuff up and we all share and talk to each other as well. So doesn't mean one organization is better than the other. Just find stuff, and there's a lot of Lax 101 items as well. We're finishing mentors. I know I promised this forever. Joe just sent the final list, so we're just getting one other small item taken care of, and those should go out by tomorrow as well. Again, make sure you're just practicing different things the best you can. And the same thing is Dick has a couple different opportunities as well to get on the field. as we said, before we eventually get to our first scrimmage, which will be the 23rd. So all of you are going to get assigned a scrimmage if you're available that day in various locations. We have about 3 going on, and we have a ton of different exhibition games. I should call them more jamborees, where multiple teams are coming to one location and then playing smaller games. We purposely put on multiple officials, so sometimes you'll be in crews of 3 or 4, but only working a 2-man game. So it allows you to shadow, and then it allows you to then run and have the other person shadow you, and then it allows for the old people like myself to sit back and not watch in the 4th quarter while you, no, just kidding. But the idea is to get different runs and get you in a controlled environment. Same thing, clinics on the 10th. And again, I don't know, what did I put for weekend games? Oh, weekend games, go watch lacrosse. There is an amazing amount of lacrosse that is all around this area at different times. There is a game at U Hartford tomorrow at 3:30, for example. I'll unfortunately be on that game. Again, if you want to see a good official, don't watch me, right? But the idea is if you can get out and you can go watch stuff as well. You don't need to know everything that's going on, but you can pick up a lot by going in person. You can check on the school websites. Inside lacrosse always has a scoreboard and a results tab for Division 1, 2, and 3, so you can check out by location and things like that as well. So yeah, the one item, this goes still in the recap of last week. Again, since everybody got it wrong, we're going to go over it again. If you are pop quiz, if you are this T, what does this T stand for in terms of the name of the official?
Trail.
Trail. Excellent. So we got part 1 right. We're doing good, right? Part 2, what's the L stand for?
Lead.
Excellent. And what is the lead's responsibility? The number 1 responsibility. Goal, right? To watch the goal. What is the trail's number 1 responsibility? And I'm going to give you a hint.
Watch the shooter.
John, they got them all right. Everybody got it right this time. Shooter, right? As many times as you need to in order to get that in your head. We just, again, wanted to, this isn't a shot at anybody, but again, we just want to continue to encourage good habits. So the more we remind you, right? And even again, as we said, there's going to be multiple times where you need to remind yourself of basic things. And so again, if we can do this in this training of when you get out there, trail, you have to watch the shooter. Just have to. And you're seeing more and more of those hits that are late as well. We took them out for a little bit. They seem to be back in, even at the NCAA level. They sent the video out. There's been some very, very vicious hits this year. So everybody's trying to crack down. So we need to be ever vigilant on that. Sound good on those items? Excellent. So our quick itinerary, we're going to do, these are going to be mashed together, is we're going to essentially do penalty enforcement. We're going to do some signals. We're going to do technical fouls in there as well. I think it will flow correctly, but to give you an idea is we're kind of smashing all of these together. So it's not just rule 7 or 6 or signals. We're going to do everything all in one. So our big one, this is your notes section. This is your really big note section. We have 2 or 3 of them tonight. But again, we're going to differentiate between the 2 types of fouls. So if you've refed another sport, throw your knowledge out the window for a second, especially if you've done basketball. If you've done basketball, technical fouls are really, really, really bad. In lacrosse, they're kind of like, meh, that's it. So getting your brain to understand the other side might be difficult, right? And so technical fouls, the easy way to understand this, and this is going to be our theme for training this year, is our keys. What are the keys in our brain that we can hit on that then start unlocking the doors for us to have a successful game, right? And make sure that we're doing the best we can. So our keys is the easiest to remember is technical fouls are fouls against the rules. There's some type of rule that is there. More often than not, they deal with administrative things. There are still some physical ones as well, but something that's wrong that you did. And then again, the easiest way to understand this is think about the schoolyard. is that you either had two things when something went wrong in the schoolyard. We're not getting to the fight, but if somebody, right, if you're playing two-hand touch and somebody says, well, I got you with two hands, and the other person says one, you did one of two things. You either did a do-over, we remember back that far, right? We don't do those in lacrosse, but we essentially give the ball to the other party, right? If you did something wrong, it's your ball, you get to play now. That's what technical fouls do, right? Is they essentially award possession. And that's it. So in the scenario, if it is, I think I spelled loose ball wrong, didn't I? I totally did, right? That's two O's. Look at that. So if it's a loose ball or lose the ball.
Oh, you lose the ball. You just got it right.
Good.
It's like when somebody made fun of me for my Long Island accent. I said Paw Patrol, and they were like, "What'd you just say?" All my W's. And so you lose the ball. If you have possession, you lose the ball, right? If it is a loose ball, meaning it's on the ground and nobody has possession, then you gain the possession, right? If somebody commits a technical foul against you. And then if I have the ball and you commit a technical foul against me still, now you go and you're time serving, right? So it's an understanding of possession. So if we have possession, right, and we commit one, we lose it. If nobody has possession, then we award it. And then if somebody does have possession and the opposition then commits a technical foul, now we don't have a possession to give because that team's already got it. So now we have to have you serve time, right? And these are, I didn't put always, I didn't put a clarifier on this. Most of the time, 30-second releasable fouls, more often than not. John has a list of 400 exceptions to that, but for the biggest part, right, is you're going to be 30 seconds releasable in almost all technical fouls, unless a few odd scenarios happen, which we're not going to go over in this portion on purpose, just to keep it simple. On the flip side, we went over these, right, are personal fouls. These are fouls against a person, right? Easy way to understand it. That's our key. John amazingly put it. We only have three options. We have a 1 minute or a 2 minute or a 3 minute. That's all we get. We don't get increments. We don't get things in the middle. 1, 2, or 3. So if it's technical, it's always 30. Most of the times it's releasable. In a personal, we have 1, 2, or 3 minutes. Most fouls are releasable, meaning if you score a goal, you get to come back, right? Think of hockey. If you score in a power play, that person comes out of the box, right? We now have scenarios, and this year is different. We've gone to the college rules. When we involve head and neck or very larger severity, things like unsportsmanlike conduct, you call somebody an MFer very loudly, or the officials, we have issues, right? That is more severe than you calling somebody garbage at the game, right? Is we have severity levels. So in those scenarios, we might have you do full time or non-releasable or locked in. All mean the same thing, but meaning they can score as many times as they like and they do not come out of the box. Again, to give you that hockey idea, that's that major, right? Where you can score as many times as you're able to, is always the way I like to put it. We'll pause there for a second. Go ahead.
I'm going to add one thing.
Yeah.
And that is personal fouls. The player always serves the penalty. Always, always, always on personal fouls. So just remember that. No matter what's happening, personal foul has to be served.
Sound good? All right. So don't get overly worried. These are all in your brand new rule book that you may or may not be able to access. That's besides the point. We'll get there eventually, right? Your technical fouls, we have what we call motion penalties, contact penalties, or game management penalties, right? Motions are, we did something when we weren't supposed to, also like timing wise, right, within that, but things that we moved to the wrong area, right? We have a rule of where you can go and when you can go. Illegal contact, right? Not to the severity of a personal foul, right? So against the person, it is still on a person, right? But things that normally happen within sports of we shove somebody we're not supposed to, we interfere with them trying to get the ball, we hold them. That happens in almost every sport, right? And then on the game management side, we have a few more. We'll go through these. What we're going to do first, though, is go through our giant penalty flow chart or a penalty tree. So this is a good note section. We'll go section by section on these, and I'll have you let me know what occurs. So in a scenario, if we have a loose ball and a personal foul, so now we're going to start thinking about what we do as officials. So I don't know, I'll pick, Al left, I think. I don't know where he went on camera. So Dick decided that he didn't like me and wanted to slash me in the shin for my bad jokes that I'm telling during, I don't know, during a play. So he slashes me in the shin. As an official, what do I do? Al's definitely would have slashed me way back in the day. What do we do as an official?
Throw the flag down, indicate the call and I'll say the number of the time served. And do you always have to signal non-releasable or no?
I'll pause you first.
Okay.
So I've only said Al slashed me and you saw it. So what do we do first? Your awesome start. Let's start there.
One,
Throw
you
the
gotta
flag.
recognize the penalty.
Throw the flag.
You got to recognize the penalty, right? Throw the flag. You started with throw the flag. So you're perfect, right? We throw the flag, right? And we also yell. What do we yell?
Flag down.
Flag down, right? Awesome.
Served it.
So now in a scenario, right? And we'll go through these. In a scenario, right? We have now killed the play. I'm just going to say that. So then what do we do to kill the play?
I'm gonna blow the whistle.
Hand up, whistle.
Yeah. And what kind of whistle do we do? Is it a
Um,
normal stoppage of play?
you got tweet, 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 tweet.
Yeah, we do a little cicada, right? A little, right? We want to indicate something's different because what could have killed the play is John could have had it going out of bounds and he's not paying attention to what I saw, right? So I want to indicate something's different. This isn't a normal scenario, right? We got a penalty. Penalties aren't normal, right, Chip? Got it. Perfect. And so we're going to say, hey, John, I got a flag, right? And now to your point, then we'll go report it. So I'm just going to take that question you did. I'm going to save it to the next slide when we get there. Sound good on that one? We'll get through the reporting side of it. Awesome job, right? Now we have a loose ball, right? Ball's on the ground. Dick is still not being nice to me and decides that he wants to shove me from behind so he can get the ball before me. What a rude, rude gentleman. What do we do?
It works.
Is the flag down already?
Nope, just play is going, the ball is rolling in a meadow someplace, maybe a butterfly is going by, and Dick decides to shove me directly in my number, and I fall over.
Do you just blow the whistle because this one's not a flag penalty?
Yeah,
Is it
good.
play on
Okay,
at this point?
good. So we don't have a flag, right? Is that it's a loose ball, so we're going to award possession, right? Because we have a loose ball. So this is the odd one. How do we indicate that there is something coming up, but we don't want to blow a whistle?
Raise
Go
your
ahead,
hand.
Matt.
Put
You
your
got it,
hand
Matt.
up.
Yeah, Matt's got it. We're gonna raise it.
Play
And
on.
what are we gonna say?
Play on.
Play on, nice and loud, right? And in this scenario, we're gonna again talk about the play on. We want to be quick. Play ons are no longer going for multiple seconds, right? So we want to have our whistle ready. Play on, right? And we're gonna signal whose ball it is. We might blow the whistle if that team doesn't pick it up. If the team picks it up, the play on has ended. And we're gonna go through that. We're getting there. We're doing very well. All right. So now we have the team in possession. Team is in possession, right? And I have the ball. Dick is now on my team, and Dick decides to slash Al right in the face. What do we do?
Throw the flag.
Blow the whistle.
And we blow the
And blow
whistle,
the whistle.
right?
Yep.
So this is immediate, right? Because if you commit any type of foul with your team in possession, it's a turnover, or B, an immediate whistle, and then we might have a flag. If it's a technical, we just turn the ball over. If it's a personal, as John said, somebody has to serve. That player always will serve. So we're going to send them off, right? Awesome. Now, I know I just gave the answer, but we're going to go through it again, right? I have the ball. Dick decides that he wants to push Al for whatever reason, right? In the back, Al goes flying next to that butterfly. What do we have?
Kill the play. Turn it over.
That's it. All we got is a whistle, right? Tweet, 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 tweet. We're going to indicate, point the other way. That's all. All right. So now team is not in possession. I get to not be on Dick's team. He's in very, very bad mood today. He's committing a lot of fouls, right? As I have the ball, Dick decides that he wants the ball, so he's going to hack every limb that I currently have that does or does not have padding, but he's going to get about 32 whacks in. So what do?
What's
Throw
that?
the
Throw the
flag.
flag.
Don't you throw the flag and you'll flag down?
Flag down, and then what do?
Let
You
it play.
wait until let it play until loss of possession, and then
Yep,
you blow the
we'll go
whistle.
through all of
Any
our goodies,
stoppage. Yeah.
right? Yep, perfect. Wait, that's the correct answer. Awesome, awesome job. Now, so we just have a flag. Now this last scenario, again, I have the ball, right? And let's say Dick decides to hold one of my teammates as they're running through the middle. What do?
Throw the flag.
Excellent. I have the
Play on.
ball, right?
the
And a
play
technical foul. We
Continue.
can't award possession. And then we're still going to wait. So we have a flag, and then we wait for one of those scenarios that occurs. Awesome, awesome job.
I'm going to add one thing.
Yeah.
And that is just in general, anytime a player is going to serve time, you're going to have a flag. Anytime there's a time serving penalty, you're going to throw a flag.
Excellent. So we have this scenario, what's called flag down, slow whistle, right? And so again, the only time we're generally not using this is this scenario where we have a personal foul with either no possession, right? Or the team that has the ball has possession. If it's on the defense, I forget somebody had texted me that question, that idea of reffing the defense, we're going to allow the offense to continue, right? We're not going to give the offense a disadvantage because they were already disadvantaged. And so we're going to throw our flag. We're going to practice at the clinic. We yell flag down. And then this key, these slides weren't a thing back when I started reffing because I told you I forgot it with my first story, right? Try to remember the number, remember who it was, also remember the penalty. I've worked with enough new people, I've worked with enough old people that sometimes they come over and go, I don't remember what I had. I go, that's okay. we're going to figure, or Al comes over and goes, what do you got? Why? I know you got nothing now, like, right? But sometimes it's tough. So you can talk to your partner, right? Talk to your partner, come up with something. And then again, we're going to have a scenario of stopping the play or goodies. So we use this.
Before you go on, I'm going to just add one comment.
Yeah.
If you're an auditory learner and you see the fouls on 23 or whatever, you can just say to yourself a couple of times while you're running, 23, 23. That's a good way for a lot of people to sort of burn it into your head and remember it.
That's a very, very good tip. That's a very good tip. So now we have the scenario of when do we now kill the play in this slow whistle, right? So we have flag down, slow whistle. There's this acronym called goodies. It goes in order, in my opinion, generally speaking, of most common to least common, right? So this is a very good mental key. The first one is a goal, right? They score a goal, excellent. We blow the whistle every time there's a goal, right? Their personal fouls will still serve. Technical fouls do not serve. They are released. We won't get into simultaneous or anything crazy like that. The offense commits a foul, right? So again, I'm running with the ball. Dick slashes me, right? And then Al sets a pick, an illegal screen on Dick. And now we have two fouls. So now that offensive foul simply kills the play because we would have had a turnover, but because we have a flag, Dick now goes and serves his penalty, right? And then I get the ball back because the flag is going to denote possession. So it simply just kills the play. So you'll often hear that. That's a good auditory piece of advice as well. You'll hear that a lot of times. I'll do it immediately because I also want my own brain to recognize it, right? I have a, hey, the hold kills the play. We have a flag down. And I'll point, flag down. Hey, 13, you're going off the field, right? And so that everybody knows it kills. It's not two flags. It's not confusion. Hey, I had an illegal screen that kills the play. We have a flag. Here we go. And then I'm looking towards my partner and still dead ball officiating. But good to kind of say it out loud. Out of bounds is an easy one. Even if it's a shot, if it goes out of bounds, it ends the play. We want the offense to, again, maintain that advantage because they've been disadvantaged to get at least one more shot is the idea, to continue their play. If the defense picks it up, right, and this is possession, so the ball may roll around on the floor as long as they want. If they go to scoop it and they miss it, we continue playing. We had this scenario last year where coaches didn't like that. If you scoop it and you miss it, and even if it flies in the air, that is not possession. Again, remember, possession is defined by being able to make a lacrosse move, a shot, a pass, or a dodge. You flipping it up into the air is not one of those three things. It's just not. So continue playing, bite your whistle. A good tip, we've always said, Teddy Murphy likes using this one. You'll actually see, even college guys, I do it myself. When I throw a flag, I take my whistle from my fingers and I put it in my hand. And that makes me wait because I will literally put my thumb over the whistle and I'll wait. So now my brain has to have another key to say, you need to blow a whistle, but seriously blow your whistle. I'm not right here because we don't want to blow that intermittent whistle. It now kills that advantage for the offense and we have no other way to correct it. That play is over. So if we wait that extra half a second, can be a good tip for you. Keep it in your hand. And then as soon as we see we need to blow it, I can move it. I'm right back. It's a very quick thing, but I keep my thumb over to hold is one way I remember it. Good. Injury stoppage, either team, we're going to kill it, right? End of the period or an equipment loss, we also kill it. And then if there's a second foul by the defense, if we throw a second flag, and at this point, this is the unique part as well. If we have a personal or a technical foul within a flag down scenario, it is a time-serving foul now. So we now create this odd scenario.
I'm going to add one thing. I'm not going to go into details, but you don't automatically kill the play because there's a second foul by the defense. There's a set of criteria that you have to look at. We're not going to go into it, I don't think, right now. But just put an asterisk next to that. We're going to come back to it.
Think the easier way, it is a very good point. Think a imminent scoring play is what we want, right? So always think of, we're going to allow the scenario, just like last night, if the ball is in flight or very closely about to be in flight, I'm talking 1 Mississippi, the ball needs to be usually in flight within that, or a player immediately going to the goal, right? One defender to beat, they make a dodge, they shoot, that is imminent, right? Something within the area.
It's basically a scoring play in progress, and there's a definition of what that means in the rule book, and we will get to that eventually.
And remember, I think it's to the same point. When we're at a lower level, it's going to take them a while to score, right? And not in a mean way. It just takes them a little while to get to cage. You're not talking about, hey, I get a second slash on the head. I'm literally coming underneath. I'm going to do a twister, BTB, and then score from 13 yards out. It's not happening at the JV level, right? It's just not. And so again, we're going to wait half a second, and then again, it's a safety. This really came into effect in the last few minutes where you were just getting players getting teed off because they had to hold the ball, and they were taking slash after slash, and we were just continuing the play. So think of it that way as a safety idea. Again, within that second flag, scoring opportunity, then we're going to go goodies. We're going to allow that scoring opportunity to continue. So now we get to questions on anything first. Cool. Now we're going to get into this idea of C note or C not. I don't think it really matters, but we have now dropped the E off. So it's C note, which is how we all learned it, right? And it's just stuck that way forever. But we're going to remember C note. And so C note goes with color, number, offense, time, explanation. Those 5, right? So good note portion if you need, but how we're going to do those, and we're going to do a whole bunch of these in a second, right? But we're going to do, again, when we're in frame, we want to be standing right around the 50, close to the wing line. We don't want to be in the table area. We want to at least be inbounds. So that way everybody can see us, right? And we want to be big with our signals. Everybody has most of you have watched a game. Every one of you have watched some kind of athletic game. The worst thing, if you're a spectator and you just see an official go off, 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 off. All right, let's go. Get the ball going. What happened? You didn't get all my signals? How did you miss them? It was just this stuff really quickly, right? Be big, and you don't have to scream. If there's 0 fans in attendance, if there's 1 grandma sitting to watch the game, we don't need to scream to grandma. We don't need to be overly loud, but we at least need the coaches to hear us, right? So you can be assertive. You don't have to be obnoxiously loud. Just be loud enough that the table can hear you, the coaches can hear you, the assistant coaches can hear you, especially in a competitive game, because there is information that they need because they need to send out units to go play man up or man down and a whole bunch of other things that occur, right? So very simply, you want to be loud in frame. So I always do it. I purposely move back, but you want to be nice, loud, assertive, and direct. Nothing extra. We have a foul on blue, 14/1 minute. Blue, 14/1 minute. I then go shot clock resets to 60 seconds and I'm out of there. Goodbye.
I'm going to jump in for 1 second. If
Go
you
ahead.
watched how Rob did that, he did that right. And you noticed he didn't use his hands and his fingers to signify the number. We've moved away from that because it's actually caused more confusion a lot of times with the table when you try to give the number on your hands and they mess it up. So we've kind of moved away from that. We just say it without signaling. So in this picture, he's got the 2 up with his hand, but we don't do that.
And in the scenario, if you had 2 flags, use some extra context, I say. So I'll give you one more on it, right? We have 2 time-serving fouls on the play. First foul, blue, 14/1 minute. Pause for effect. Pause for the 13, 14, 20-year-old, 30-year-old who's writing this down. The scorekeeper has to write this down. This is important. They also need to get the time the penalty goes in. So don't rush through it. I always usually get some parent in some game who yells, "You take forever." Yeah, because they're writing, right? Like how fast do you write, right? So then I pause and I go second foul, also on blue, 14/1 minute. Blue 14 has 2 minutes in total. Everything is releasable. I'm gone. And I purposely say I'm gone and I do this motion because you want to physically move out of that area, get out of the table area, make contact with the scorer, make sure they wrote it down. I usually tell them at the beginning of the game, give me a head nod when you're good. If I see the head nod, I'm gone. Because who's standing at the pylon wanting to chew my ear off? Coach Graham, not Coach Graham, every other coach in the planet, right? Wants to yell at me. See you later. I got to talk to you later, coach. I got to go do stuff. What do I got to do? I got to go stand some grass, not by you. That's all I have to do, right? But it's just to get me away. All we want. Make sense? We're going to practice these in a half second here. So again, calm, loud. If you're not sure, don't overly worry about it. If you're not sure of the symbol, just say slash. It still works. The foul is on blue, 14/1 minute. Everybody knows exactly what I had, and I even used my hands once, right? So don't overly confuse on the hand signals.
Rob, did you
Go
want to add the E for the explanation for the non-releasable part, or you want to wait on?
Oh yeah, we can. I think the same thing is this is. Oh, go ahead, Dick.
It could be. We always refer to it as extra information. For instance, hey coach, ball's starting in the alley. You're giving extra information that the coach may need as well.
Yeah, we had a scenario. I'll just use the one from this weekend. We had a super wonky one where we had 2 dead ball unsportsmanlike conducts. We purposely called them simultaneous. Then we said, coach, ball is going to stay with white. The shot clock is going to stay at 22 seconds. This is one of those scenarios where that happens. And both coaches said, I guess you're right. It was great, right? But again, that little extra information, I'm purposely giving a college example, right? It's a little bit outside of our context, but that then gives that information to the coaches because that's what they need. Who's going to get the ball? Where are we going? How much time we got? What unit needs to get on the field? And then usually their question, if they are like you and they're amicable, they'll go, Hey, do I have 20 seconds to sub? Absolutely, coach, not a problem. We're going to make sure you get all your subs on. Bring them on. Let's go, right? And then we're going to go from there. So again, you can be cordial. You can ask them, right? And then at that point, once they both came in to look like they're good, I'm out of there. Even 5 or 10 yards. Just get away from that table area because nothing good can happen from lingering, right? In that, to just go quick on this is that idea of when we relay. So depending on where we are, I'm going to show that slide again. I think that's coming next, but we're going to again relay to both our partner. Once the partner goes to the table, you want to start telling the field, as we said, hey, ball's going to be outside. I usually just tell the goalie, right? Or find a defenseman who generally, you know who the loud defenseman is. They can also be your best friend, right? Hey, 13, ball's going to be outside here. It's going to be one man for a minute, right? The ball's going to be outside, side left. Okay, got it, sir. And if he's loud, use him to your advantage because he's, for whatever reason, inherently in sports, he now screams it to the planet. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, right? And you can build a rapport that way and tell them. Same thing with the goalie. It's okay to over communicate in that scenario. So when your partner comes back, we can start it. As we said, that second person is going to tell the table and the coaches. And then the third one, whoever's going to do the restart, again, we want to over communicate to the goalie. So for safety reasons, right? Keep ball is here, right? Some people don't like when you say we or hey, I'm with the ball. We don't like to be part of it. I've just learned it that way. So again, I say, hey, ball's here, keep, we're here. I like John's. Hey, keeper, ball is with 13 top right. He likes using a number. I like his style. I just have never picked it up, but it's awesome. Hey, it's with 13. Here you go. You can be loud, you can take your time, and then we're going. And the last thing we're doing is we're also waiting for our partner to point towards the way we're going. We're either a full stop sign, we're a yellow light, or we're a green light, right? And wait for your partner to point because your partner might be picking up his flags, might be dealing with the coach, might be dealing with a scorekeeper who doesn't understand how to write all that down. And that's okay. Again, sometimes we deal with people, right? And this isn't mean, 13 or 14-year-olds, and we have 4 penalties in a row. There's a lot going on, right? So give them a second to make sure they know what's going on, and everybody else, take your time. We don't start till we're ready as officials. Good on that? As we said, in this scenario, trail is by the bench, lead's got the flag, they yell over to the trail. My issue, as John said, I legitimately have bad eyesight from afar, right? Not as bad that I just make up all the calls in general. I know there's a joke in there someplace on that one, right? But like I have trouble when people do like 114 like this. I can't see it because they go so fast. There's a million things in the background. Just make sure you verbal really well. Nothing drives me crazy, right? Is that a partner goes flag down, right? Everything. The hell was that? Right. And then I'm standing and then the coach would say, I didn't see that either. And he goes, I know you didn't see that. I'm aware, coach. Right. And then I got to go run over. Just take a second and make sure your partner gets it. There might be people running in between. That happens a lot. So just take a second. I tend as a lead, try to run up a little bit. We again had it on Saturday was a perfect example. One of the veteran guys said, why'd you run so close to me? I go, we literally had 10 kids coming off the field. I just wanted to make sure you got the penalty. Oh yeah, it was really nice. It was a little bit loud to hear you the first time. Not a problem, but stop giving me crap for running. Like, but again, use one another to an advantage, right? Is, hey, Dick, I have blue 14 on a slash for 1 minute. As a mnemonic, Dick might repeat it back verbally. That's fine. Hey, you have blue 14 on a slash 1 minute. Yes. Ball's going to start with white. I got it. Awesome. Sometimes they'll confirm. You got that? Yes. Little simple things that help each other out. Again, the trail's then going to report it. Lee gets the field ready. As soon as the trail gets back, they point. We're good to go. Make sure you grab your flags. Just make sure you grab your flags. That's all I got to say. Don't start the game until you got a flag back in your pocket. As we said, what are you doing on that scenario? We want the ball to get back. In this top scenario, lead restarts the ball, can talk about it. Same thing here, trail's coming across, lead can restart the ball on their side. Questions on anything? I think we're right where we need to be time-wise. Questions, concerns, gonna take a half break, and then we're gonna do fun stuff. Nothing? Cool. So those of you not on video, we're going to ask you to go on video if you can, as long as you're not driving. I feel like one year we had somebody driving. Like, we don't need penalty calls while you're driving. We're going to go through everything. It's going to be great. So if there's anybody watching you in your house, it's going to be weird and really awkward, and it's great, and you should have them jump in or correct you on stuff. But we're going to go through everything as well. We're going to signal everything we got. I got our cheat sheet at the bottom here. So if we have our C note, right? We're literally going to go through all of our signals and a whistle. So you can say tweet, tweet, or tell me when you're going to blow a whistle within that. And then we're going to go through all of our foul reporting. All of them. We got 48 to go through. 38. Can't count. That's why I became a ref. Don't need math. It's awesome. We can do here. I'll just assign, remember your numbers if we can. And I'm going to write these down. Andrew, you're 1. Sam, you're 2. Mark, you're going to be 3. Sean, you're 4. Matt Hansen, you're 5. Kevin, you're 6. Chapello, you're 7. Chris Graham, you're 8. Lee, you're 9. Todd, you're 10. Danny, you're 11. Lino, you're 12. Sound good on that? And then we'll just repeat when we get to 13. So Andrew, do you want to give us, you got to mimic a whistle and then give us the signal for a goal, please.
You got it. So ball crosses the line. First, blow the whistle and run towards the goal, and it's the arms up, straight up, as it's in
Excellent.
right there.
And where are your feet? Where should we're running lead left. So where should your left foot be touching?
I don't know.
You may pass this question if you like.
I would say probably the crease.
Crease line and GLE. Awesome. Put your left foot right on that crease line. You may straddle it and be fine. You want arms spread out, hands straight up. Nice big signal. And where do we face when we give the goal signal?
Probably upfield.
Correct. Upfield towards the midfield. Awesome job. I gave you extra bonus questions and appreciate you answering all of them. Awesome.
Okay.
Sam, what do we got? We got an out of bounds going to your left. Is it where you're going to award the ball?
So be quick whistle, and your hand up to hold it. Wait for the player to get back in bounds.
Can I see your hand, please? What's your hand look like?
Oh.
That elbow? Get the elbow bend out. Come on, man. Let's go. All right. Now we're waiting. Players taking their sweet time. They're now back in bounds. What do we do?
Once you point, to your left, which way they're going, it's a slow whistle and restart it.
Yeah. Excellent. Awesome. Mark, we're going to point. The ball went out on a shot, right? And now, so we're running to our left. The goalie got there first. So we're going to point to our right. It's going to be the goalie ball. And the goalie's on blue. What does it look like for me? What's it sound like?
We're going to hit the whistle when the ball goes out of bounds. It's going to our left. The goalie got the ball. And then we're going to point upfield towards the blue team, call blue ball, and hold till he gets it in bounds, and then blow it when he steps in ready for play.
Yeah. Excellent. We generally cheat on these a little bit, right? We'll kind of throw a hand a little bit and then we might point right away, right? Especially if I always say that the really good advice on goalie balls and even on any shot awarding of the ball, we want to match the play if we can, right? If the goalie dove and got there and we got 5 seconds left in the quarter, right? And they're down by 1, we want to match that call. Tweet, goalie. Big, loud, upfield, right? As much as we can. Nothing kills it, right? Even in a JV game, get everybody excited a little bit, right? You don't have to be completely over like a YouTube referee. We've seen a couple of those, right? But the same thing, match it. Hey, tweet, keeper, nice, big, clean, right? Little simple things like that. Nothing's the same thing. 2 kids are diving for the ball, tweet. Oh, John, do you see which? Oh, yeah, white. Oh, you mean, I'm sorry, blue. Kills it, right? Nice, clean, give a big one, go. Right? If it's a routine, just give it an up and an out. Yes, Dick.
Rob, did you want to add for Matt's answer there? If that was the goalie that got the possession on the end line, you don't want a fast restart in high school.
Oh, in high school, right? That's right. It's not
If
quick
you're-
whistle.
You
Right.
mean if it went the other way? Sorry, if the
Goalie-
attack picked it up, then
If
we
it's
give
against
5
the goalie.
seconds.
You let the
Either-
goalie get back in the crease, right? Or
5
whatever it is.
seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say you haven't watched Cheshire goalies lately because they are like literally up the field. As soon as the ball goes out of bounds, they're like, "Sir, why are we not going?" Right?
That's Mike Devine.
Yep.
They're going, they're gone. You're like, yeah, okay, you got to come back here. All right, who we got? Sean, give me a inbounds. We kind of went over it, but we're gonna restart the play. The ball went out of bounds. It's now gonna be white ball. What are we doing? Yep.
Well, you point direction to the right, and then once the ball's in, you blow the whistle and you wind it up.
Yeah. Remember, we blow the entirety of our arm winding. Awesome job. Who we got? Matt. You're gonna do a field's ready to play. So it is a face-off. You're on the wing side, and so what are you gonna do? I'm waiting for you to tell me that the field's good.
Hand up.
Yep, we're right. Unless it's a big thing, we might have
Yeah,
two.
yeah.
We don't normally do two. Two's like something crazy, like the clock's not working, or I don't know. There's a broken stick on the field. There's a dog on the field. That's somewhere in one of the rule examples, right? Then we're just up, as you said, and now the field's ready. So you're gonna point to your goal.
Okay.
Left. Excellent. Good job. So we're going to point left, right? We're always going to point towards our goal where we're going or where the ball is going. So on face-offs, we always point to our left, right? Or we're always pointing to where the ball is going. So that way everybody knows which way we're going. Awesome job. Kevin, White just had a timeout.
You blow your whistle, call timeout, go like this, and then point towards whatever side White's on.
Yeah, excellent. I like a two-hand, right, to that side. Is again, we want a nice, maybe it's a cicada whistle, might want a long whistle, and then we're going to point 2 hands, right, towards the bench, and then we're good. And then we're going to move. Oh, go ahead.
Are there 30-second timeouts or in like basketball, or are there just one length?
They are 1 timeout. They are all a
Okay.
maximum of 2 minutes. I will give you the technical answer because I love doing this as a coach. Of the minimum they can take is 20 seconds. The maximum they can take is 2 minutes. It is the team who called it. It's their choice to say when they are ready. But then they give again a timing. We always have 20 seconds in that scenario. The other team then has 20 seconds. I liked it as a coach because I was that jerk who'd catch a call once in a while of a team not knowing what the rule was. So we called it Alaska. It was a whole thing. We had T-shirts made up. It was great. Coach Graham is laughing, so that's for you on that one. But
Thank
yes,
you.
they're all 2 minutes, especially at the JV level. They're just going to take 2 minutes. We do want to time those. Again, our timer does 140, right? And then that gives us a chance to then tell everybody, tweet, tweet, tweet. The timeout's over. You have 20 seconds, get the field ready, hustle out to your spots, switch on your timer. When that timeout occurs, make sure at least one official gets to where we call the cross. That's the cross of players, right? Because everybody's going back to their bench, even if it's trail, right? We want to get to that spot. Even as lead, you can come in. We want to get in between because dumb stuff can happen. You might have a stick check as well, but we want to get to that spot. Who did I say was next? Chip, you are injury timeout.
Yep. So I'm gonna guess multiple whistles, timeout, and then is it my time?
Yep. My time, injury. Yep. Perfect. So the same thing again, depends on, severity. It might just be a tweet, right? Can be a whole bunch of tweet if we think it's serious. If it's a routine, right? The kid's kind of down, the ball's out of bounds. Everybody saw it, tweet, kid pulled up with a cramp, right? Tweet, hey, come over. We don't have to be big and elaborate when it's an injury, right? Because we don't want to, hey, everybody look at me. We got a time. We don't want to do that, right? Because coach might be yelling too. For good or for bad reasons. And so we just want to not bring a ton of attention to it. Hey, coach, you need to check out your player. That's all. End of the quarter. We got Lee.
I got that one.
Oh, good.
So you wave the arms up in the air, 3 long tweets, right? And then waving the arms up in the air, you yell quarter. And then if there's man down and somebody has possession, you also let them know who has possession to start the next quarter.
Correct. I also say this is a little bit of a trick question. Al and I are lazy. I don't think I've probably signaled the end of a quarter in a very long time. I just let the big horn go off, right? So I'm a little bit lazy on it. But it is, especially if it's a second or two, there's a shot at the end, we'll give it the same thing, a one of these, quarter, 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 right? We're good. Same thing if the ball gets hucked on a Gilman, everyone just kind of walking on over and we're good, right? So this is one of these, and a couple of people asked on the rule books, you don't have to get overly in the weeds, right? On the signals is, again, match the call. If there's a big play at the end, right? Shot at the buzzer, no, 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 no. We have a quarter, you can head to your benches, right? Or if it's kind of a game and it's rolling a little bit, you don't have to go crazy. Don't draw a lot of tension.
I'm just gonna
And
add
Rob-
one
go
thing
ahead.
there. At the
Yeah.
end of the quarter, be slow on blowing your whistle, because remember, the player takes a shot, right? That could still potentially be a goal after the horn. So you don't want to blow the whistle and kill it, if it's really still a live ball and could be a goal. So take your time on that. Don't just automatically blow your whistle as soon as you hear that horn.
Who was 9?
Hey,
That was
Rob,
me.
Rob,
That was-
also end of quarter is another time when you want to get to the cross.
Correct. Very good point. Go ahead, Lee.
So no goal. Probably be a cicada whistle, no goal. And then
Yep.
Once they pick it up, give them the arm round
Yeah.
whistle.
Excellent. Is we technically don't have a washout in like a post scenario. So again, if you think of hockey and stuff, you'll see the no. Again, I'm kind of indifferent on it as well. Again, rise to the occasion of the play is, if it's a really big shot or the same thing as a really close play and it sounds really weird, it looks weird, there's a minute left, right? I might give a no, right? And again, you can match that moment on that. Is the last thing you want is like this, and there's 4 kids in the crease, and you're just like, oh, I didn't see it, right? You can give a no, and everybody sees that you're paying attention, right? As simple as that. And so that way, when you make the next one, you get a little bit less grief, if that makes sense. We have a face-off. So in a scenario of we have a good goal, right? We still have a penalty that's going to serve. Who's going to do 10? We're going to indicate that there's a face-off. So we actually have a signal for this.
That'd be me, I guess. This.
Yep. So we just go 2 hands and we put them together, and I'll go, right? Good goal.
Okay.
We still have a time serving foul slash on blue 14. That's going to be 1 minute. Good goal.
Well,
We have a face off, man down face off, right? So I'll
Okay.
kind of go back and go this way. Again, it doesn't need to be a slap, right? I'll just kind of do it for effect. It makes it look like you know exactly what you're doing when you're like, I have no clue what I'm doing, right? And so
All
good
right.
goal, time serving foul, blue 14. Coaches, we have a man down face off, right? And then you can say no face off, the same thing. We had possession at the end of the quarter. Blue's going to maintain it, no face off. So we don't want to recreate the symbol. We just want to say no, right? Awesome job. Face off, we have a possession.
That was me. You just wind the clock, right? Like give a.
That's it. You got it. Some of these are not tough. It's great. Lino, we're going to set you up for success here, my man. We have a 10-second count getting into the box.
Oh, wait, one sec, Rob,
Oh,
before
go
we
ahead.
get to that. What if
Man.
on the face-off, the ball crosses the restraining line?
I don't know. I'm not sure what we would do.
Phone a friend.
All right, good.
We just yell play
Okay.
because we want to. Yep, the face-off is concluded. We're going to release everybody out of the box. So we're just going to yell play.
Same signal, but yell play. Yep.
Mhm. All right, Lino, how do we do our counts? A 4 count or a 10 count?
So if we're doing a 10 count, where we just putting our hand up? Oh, it's down
Oh,
here.
Yep, just down here.
Oh no! Oh, you're saying like the count, do the count? Yes.
Yep.
Like almost like
Perfect.
basketball. Yep. You go right
Yep,
out with it. Yes.
exactly like basketball. See, I set you up for success. I got you, man. Nice.
Gotcha.
Don't worry. All right, we're gonna go back to number 1 here. So Andrew, change of possession.
Just arm up and then point to the direction.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's it.
you
We
got
just
the
point the other way.
possession?
Easy peasy.
Yep.
We have a loose ball. So give me a loose ball hold, let's say.
That's a play on until the play, until the team gets possession with another foul, and then it'd just be a hold, and then you point possession whichever way.
Yep. And we can point to the ground, right? So it's tough. So I usually go lower, right? But I'm going to go loose, push, or hold, right? Hold, and then blue, right? Easy peasy. Failure to advance.
I think that's me, right?
Correct.
You get to the end of your count, and then you're gonna blow the whistle. You're gonna point opposite to the turnover to the other team, award possession.
Yep, but we have a failure to advance. So what's the signal for failure?
Oh, right,
Good.
yeah, right.
Good.
Failure, yep.
Class is excellent. I'm sure on Zoom world, this always looks great. Everybody's just tapping their ball spots, right?
Yes.
As always, remember your ball spot on a failure to advance your hairline.
Which counts could end in a failure to advance?
Either count, right? Your 20-second count or your 10-second count.
Yep.
In the four, get out of here, Dick, with that. We don't like goalies. These goalies, man, they're ridiculous. I'll still sometimes do it on the four. I'll be very verbal if I have a 4 count on a goalie, if that makes sense. Hey, we had a 4 count, right? And again, we want to be slow on that 4 at every level. Not egregiously slow, but again, especially if you're doing youth or if you know it's a first time goalie, give them a good 4 full seconds. Make sense on that one? We want them to get a chance to get out if they're trying. Play on. Let's all do play on. Easy peasy, right? Easy peasy,
yeah.
play on, right? And then give me a tipped for everybody. Right? And we're gonna yell. Tipped, 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 tipped. Right? I like tipped. Some people like saying deflected. I just yell tipped, right? And we're good. Let's give what's our push call? Right? We're just going to go push right to the screen. We're on a push, right? If we're loose with a push, we just point down first, we go. We have a face-off violation. I personally just say it. I don't like the way all of this looks, to be honest with you. You see a lot of this, right? A false start, he held, right? We'll generally do the ones that are actual fouls. So if it's a hold, right, a withhold, something like that, a kicking the cross, we might kick, right? We physically will kick the air, not the player again. But if he jumped, I don't like this. I just like pointing because everybody's looking at the point more than they're looking at what I actually called. If it's down set, early, blue. Just we're good.
And the illegal
Super
procedure
clear.
signal doesn't tell you anything anyway. It could be
Correct.
1,000 things.
Correct. Over and back, or a re-entry into the crease or an illegal entry in the crease, right? We're just going to go back and forth, right? Over and back, we want to be quick in terms of we want to give 1 or 2 and then get out of there, right? Because we don't want to be trapped. It's not our whistle. The trail is going to take that on a restart most times. If it's a re-entry to the crease, be big. You can do it a couple times. Hey, no, we're back in, right? Because there's a lot of people not going to be happy because somebody ran back in the crease. Who do we stop? We're at, I think, Matt, is it your turn? You want to do an illegal body check for us? Deshaun, did we get you one?
Illegal body check.
Perfect. Yeah. Slash, Matt.
Slash.
Yeah. Make sure you're big, right, on that one for everybody. Kevin, cross check.
You have both hands out like that.
Yeah, that's it. I think Chip, you're a trip. I'm gonna make you stand up. Poor guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say without standing up, like you're chopping your knee.
Yep, just chop your knee. Unnecessary. Lee's not, so we can all do it. It's fine. We'll help him out. You're good. You're totally good. We'll give you the next one. You're good. You're tagged, whatever. Unsport. Give me an unsportsmanlike. You fucker, get off your phone.
I'm off it now.
He missed it. He missed the joke on that one. That's okay. Right, full bird, we want to go full bird, right? Half bird is 30, full bird is a minute on that one. So conduct's that half bird, as we said. To your point, if we're locking in, right, we want to make that symbol to the head, right? So we have a cross check, right? Direct contact to the head, 2 minutes, full time, right? So our full time is a genie. that goes in. And again, we can point, some people point with their finger. I think it looks better if you do a fist to your head and you want to kind of keep your elbow out. So you kind of go here. So it's to the head. Pete is one of the top NCAA guys, did the national one. He does a really good, he literally just does like a fist to like the forehead, and it just makes you laugh because it's so clear as day what it is. So again, you can pick up ways you like to do it. We'll run through a couple of these. Everybody, what's interference? Right? Nice and big in front, right? You don't have to be out with it. You can be up against your chest, but I always kind of nice and big, right? On that one. An illegal screen. Yep. I like going straight to the elbow in my opinion, because I think when you kind of go like this, it almost looks like a slash. It almost looks like interference, right? Can also look like a hold. So I kind of like going to the elbow myself and kind of giving one of these real quick, really good 90-degree, right, where we see it. I'll also kind of go hands up, so it's a little bit different, and kind of go here as versus a fist, if that makes sense, because my hold likes to be a fist, but if I'm up, trying to get a frame here for everybody, I like to be kind of other Genie. I dream of Genie, right? Before I'm here, I'm kind of here with her, right? And so that same kind of idea, I like going that way. A hold, as we said, everybody. Good. Award, everybody's favorite call in U7, right? We just want to go up and out the best we can with that one. A delay a game. We're still going with the old one. I don't care what anybody says, right? We stack them and try to go elbow to elbows with your fingertips. Don't be kind of out or don't be in too close. I like stacking, like I said, fingertips on the elbows, nice and big, like that one on a delay a game. A withhold. So we see more of these on face-offs. We just want to cover, right? I'll give it a good slap, to be honest with you. We have a withhold going blue, right? So I like a big slap, big loud, a lot of distance between my call, if that makes sense. A crease violation.
Point down.
Yeah,
Point
you
down.
can point.
Yeah.
Again, I match the intensity, as you said. I like doing that. Again, in most JV games, you're going to point, right? I sometimes just point with a hand. And again, when we point, we want our thumbs in. That's our key, right? So we're pointing. This looks bad. This looks bad. This looks super clean, right? So practice that, thumb in. My wife still does that, and she's laughing when I say this too, is same thing before I leave for every game. She says, tuck that thumb, because I got yelled at in an evaluation one time, but it's a really good point, right? Tuck that thumb, looks nice and clean on all your points. If it's a real big call, you can slam the turf if you want to. I've done it. It looks really good, in my opinion. You come in, you slam that turf, nobody's arguing with you, and you're pointing out. We're out of here, right? Nice, big, clean signals. And then our last one, and this is what I always call the, hey, Mr. Vernon, I have no idea what I just saw, and I'm hoping, really hoping you saw it as well. Did you have a... And John goes, yeah, I had a slash. And I go, excellent. Thank you, John. I appreciate you. I get all of the the post-game snacks. But yeah, and our legal procedure is what we're going to see. You're out of the box early, an illegal sub, something like that, right? So we're going to, again, our travel call within basketball. Again, not high in front of our chest. I try to go in a little bit where it's kind of my fists over my forearms, if that makes sense. So I'm not out here. I'm not in here, right? I'm kind of nice middle, and you only got to give it 2 or 3 because it's a legal procedure and I'm already pointing. Again, remember your point is sometimes more important than your signal. You still want to give your signal, but everybody just wants to know whose ball it is, if that makes sense. Good on our signals, little fun exercise.
Hey Rob, really quick,
yeah, go ahead.
Does your point, like when you, so like let's say like a crease violation and you point, that doesn't technically like restart the play, right? You still have to wind your arm.
Yeah, so I'll have same thing, and I'll try to, I don't know how much distance I have here, but I'll come in and I'll point, crease, so first I'll usually go if it's a goal. So I'm gonna go, no, we have a crease, we're going out, right? And then I'm up, I'm trying to get a frame, we're up, and we're going, right? Especially if that goalie picks it up in a higher level. Yes, John, go ahead.
You're going to make sure that you're not in the goalie's way because you may be coming into the crease to sell that call. Make sure you're out of there when you're doing the restart so you don't get hit in the head by the goalie trying to clear the ball.
and let your partner get out. And usually not in a 2-man. We had a scenario as well. It was a game, Danny Gonzalez and I worked, same thing. Overtime goal, kid was 100% in the crease. He came in from trail. I came in from lead. We both looked at each other, right? We said, it's going to be a no goal. We have a crease. And he said, you got it. I go, I do. So now I do all my theatrics. But again, what I'm actually doing is buying him time to run down the field, as simple as that sounds. We have no goal, no goal. He was in the crease, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, right? We're going out. Goalie, do you have the ball? Yes, you do. Excellent. I'm super glad you do. Whistle. Danny can get 30, 40 yards downfield, right? Because I can delay, as simple as that is. So again, depending on it, within the JV, it's not going to happen. We're going to have a crease. We're probably not going to have a quick restart. It's probably that defenseman picking the ball out, moving outside to that sense. Sound good? Really good question, though. Hopefully that worked. I know it was out of frame a little bit, but I tried. Yeah, I like doing no crease. Same thing I'm going to say on that loose ball push in a second on it. This is different as of last year. Good note. Everything in youth is locked in. Everything in the youth. They changed this last year. It's the same this year. The idea is to give the full impact of the penalty. Not to be mean to kids, right? But if you're hacking a kid and you got 2 or 3 penalties already and you're already losing by 12, you don't want them to score and you're right back in, you do it again. That's the idea of it, is that it's got a little bit of a reprimand to it for that reason. So all penalties are locked. Sounds good? It also makes things simpler. Again, we don't have a lot of table personnel, we have parents, things like that. Again, remember our keys, as we said. I think this was, yep, so I'm just going to go through. I'm going to go through the tech fouls super quick. I know we got 15, but again, our play-ons, the good key to remember, 1 Mississippi is all they get for that play-on. You can go a little bit outside, but you have to be knowing that the team who's going to get the ball is actually going to pick the ball up. In a JV or a youth game, not going to happen, right? It's just not going to happen. So get the ball stopped, get the ball on a stick, restart the play quicker. You see it even at the collegiate level. There's shot clock implications. They want play-ons being less than a half a second, and I'm not kidding you. They want them as quick as possible. Kids get push, play on, tweet, it's white ball, pick it up, we're going, right away, because we're resetting stuff. In our game, if you're 100% sure that that kid can get the ball, keep it about 1 Mississippi. So there's a push, the kid stumbles a bit, is about to grab it, he grabs it, we're going, white ball. And I'll explain what we say on the next slide. Sound good on that one? So you can be quick on those. Remember, nothing good can happen by a long play on. We've seen it. Ball squirts, I got to play on. Next kid gets hit, third kid gets hit. What do you got? I have just a push. Why is my kid bleeding? Couldn't tell you, it was a push, right? Kill it early, especially in scrums like that. If you have something, blow it early. The play on process, as we said, we did super awesome on these. What I do, and I got my notes here, is this is my key to it, is this is the opportunity you have in your brain to take an extra half second and stall because of your signals. You can stall your brain in a good way. Is sometimes I'm like, okay, I have a scrum, a kid went flying, the blue kid fell down, I now need to blow a whistle, right? I have a play on, I have a whistle, and now somewhere in my brain, I got to compute everything I just saw, right? So I like remembering saying, I'm going to go loose, it was a push, and now I'm going to find a color. I already know in my head that the blue kid's on the ground, so blue's going to get the ball. So I'm going to say whose ball it is. I'm going to rephrase that a bit. So I'm going to say loose, I'm going to say push, and I'm going to say blue ball. It is blue's ball. And then I repeat that. I'm going to use my goalie as my key. If I see a blue goalie, I'm not going to point towards him because that can't be right. I want to find the opposite color. So look at the goalie, right? And if you see that there's a blue goalie, and I've done it, loose, push, and I'm this way, right? Nobody on the field knows what I just did. My partner saw I did a, right? And he goes, what'd you have? I go, I saw that blue goalie and I almost pointed towards him and it looked like an in it. Nothing's worse than you go blue and you're super confident and you go, my bad, and you're here. It happens, right? Correct it, Give them a second. Don't hide it. It's okay. Just say, I pointed the wrong way. It's going to be blue ball, right? And they have an opportunity to sub off of that error, believe it or not, right? So just do it. Most times they're good and we go, right? So use that second to think about it for a half second. I like saying, again, whose ball it is, because it makes sense. Don't try to use two colors. It gets very confusing even as a partner official. We have a loose, we have a push. It was white who got pushed by blue, and therefore it's going to be blue's ball, but then white is the bad. What'd you just say? Super concise, right? Loose, push, blue. Blue ball, it is blue's ball, right? And if you say it, the same thing will get it. I will also tell the face-off players that is I'm only going to call a color, and that's who gets the ball. So just remember that, right? And in the first time, you don't have to throw a delay a game or anything immediately, right? But you can get them conditioned very quickly. That's all. And the same thing, I personally don't like playoff. I think it confuses myself. I like yelling a color. Is the proper mechanic is you say play on, and then you say play on, you say play off. See, I don't even say it right when I try. Some people will say the play on is off. Some people will say the play on is over. I like just yelling a color because everybody in the planet knows that that kid still got the ball. Play on, green. And we're going and I'm big and I'm pointing, right, the whole way. Green's got the ball and is running down the field and I'm still pointing for an extra 1 Mississippi. We're all good, right? So again, whatever you feel more comfortable, I think it goes back to the idea of this is a lot of syllables, right? It's the same idea we had two teams with purple and it's the basketball thing. You don't use the word purple in your call. If it's one syllable as far as we get, you're red, blue, or black. That's like the only three, and white. Those are the only colors on the field, right? It's the same idea. The more you can shorten your syllables, it makes it cleaner, it makes it faster, and it makes it way less easy to mess up. Make sense on that one? I like going play on, and then that kid gets the ball because, again, remember, we're 1 second. Tweet, 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 white ball. Kid picks it up, white ball. Either one, super simple, clean. Sound good on all those? So, again, if we have a crease violation, I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. Again, we went over all the crease stuff. So if that player is in the crease, we're calling a crease violation. Super simple. That is a technical foul, right? Only scenario that crease violation is a flag is that if that defensive team has the ball outside of the crease and that offensive player decides to run through the crease. It's the only scenario, again, that's a technical foul for being in the crease. At no time can that offensive player be in the crease. We have possession, becomes a flag. Everything else is simply a turnover going the other way. Even if, again, we think the goalie made the save in time, anything else, it's simply a crease violation, can be a play on. We might blow it immediately. Again, you can err on the side of caution on creases because they're around the goalie's feet. You can kill it early, get it out of there for safety reasons, right? Make sense on that one? Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, question. So if the goalie saves it and he has it in his stick, but the momentum carried the guy into the crease, is that a flag?
I will generally call play on because you're going to make it's that judgment call. A coach might argue that, right? But coach, as soon as he shot it, the goalie didn't have it yet. He then ran through the crease, right? It's bang, bang. It's easy. It's also a super ticky-tack call that can get you because, you know, the next time it's going to happen and then you're going to have to call it again and bad. But a very good question. If it's very bang, bang like that, that's our judgment. That goes back to that game management idea, as we talked about in the very beginning, of you might not want to make that call in that scenario, right? The rule says you might. Go ahead.
So you're just going to give the goalie a chance to clear it out of there, and if he fails,
just
then
play
blow the
on,
whistle.
right? And then the goalie gets that chance to complete the outlet pass, right? Or run it out are their options.
And if he doesn't, he'll get a free clear.
Correct. John's very good. We have a very lively inside joke about that exact call for a very long time. We have an offside, right? So again, in our offside, we need to count those. Remember, the line is no good in our scenarios. Lines are out within ours. And so again, we have to be cognizant of that. If they touch the line, it's no good. And so with that said, the quick diagram, we have, again, 3 on blue need to be the offensive side at all times. We need 4 on the defensive side. So if we're looking on this side, we're going to have 3 blue back, 4 red back. It does not matter where the goalie is. The goalie just has to be on the field, right? So the goalie can technically go over. We just need 4 red on this side. We need 3 blue on this side. Same idea. Then we have maximum amounts. There's 6 on offense, 7 on defense. If we don't have the correct number, somebody is offside, right? We want to call that as when we see it. Also remember, it might take you a second or two to count that. I count by 2s. I'll go 2, 4, 6, and then I count twice. 2, 4, 6. You want to count because it's really, really confusing to count sometimes, especially in JV, especially in pennies. It is difficult to count, especially if they have the same color or close-ish, right? Take your time, get it right. It's okay to call it late. In that same idea, once you have noticed it is offsides, the play is dead, right? You can assume that the play was dead sooner. So anything that happens doesn't matter. If there's technical fouls, doesn't matter. If there's personal fouls, we're going to serve. We always serve the personal. If we have a goal, it's no goal because we're offside. If the team asks for a timeout, that's a fun trick coaches have done, and I've done it too, is you notice your offsides before the officials do, and you call a timeout. You try to get everybody back over so you don't lose the ball. If you notice that, the offside always occurs first. At the moment you realize it has occurred, nothing else can occur. Personal fouls can, they're always going to serve. Make sense on the offside?
Now, one other question on the offside.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know I think it used to be. I kind of remember when we used to. Is there a delayed substitution on the offense? So the offense only has 5.
Yeah,
it's a disadvantage for them, but yeah.
Correct. It has to be intentional. That's the easiest way to put it. They have to really be intentionally delaying an offside. The only time I've ever seen it and called it as a coach as well is on a inbound play, and the same thing will delay a sub so they can't match up. Right, we'll do stuff like that. The easiest one, this is a little advanced level, but the same thing is if you have an inbound here and there's a minute left and they're trying to get the ball back and they double it, we'll do you move one person off the field and one person over kind of deal, and you play a sub game. Never going to happen at JV or youth level, if that makes sense. But to answer your question, and honestly, usually the coaches will pull you aside during that timeout. Hey, I'm going to have a guy here, and we're going to do that, and they're going to be discreet about it. You can, again, you're not playing into it, right? Yeah, whoa, good play, right? Just, I got it, coach, not a problem. We're going to look for that, right? Good.
One quick thing, in general on technical fouls, right? You're thinking advantage, disadvantage. You know, that hold, that push was a team disadvantaged. But on line violations, you're not thinking advantage, disadvantage. You're just calling it because everybody can see it. So if it's an offside, it's a crease violation, something like that. You're not trying to say to yourself, well, was there an advantage gained or not? Those you just have to call.
The same thing, simply just over the line. As John said, the only time when we will go advantage, disadvantage on an offside is if that player is running into the substitution area and they step on that corner. If that makes sense, they cut that corner by that much and there is no advantage. It is behind the play. We let that go, right? It is not in the spirit of the game. There's no advantage, disadvantage, especially at lower levels. You're going to have defensemen that are coming in for the first time, right? In a game, they're wholesaling changing. You might have a goalie change. Guarantee somebody's probably going to walk off sides because they're going to cut that corner by that much, right? Do not throw that flag on them. Again, within reason, it's the spirit of the game. We're trying to get more players involved. Allow them that substitution with a little bit of grace, if that makes sense. Same thing on the offense. Offense cuts that corner. There's no material advantage to it. Coach is going to make mention of it, right? Coach, we're not doing that today. That's what I always say. Coaches hate that. So I always use that one. Coach, we're not doing that today. Doing what? Calling the rule book? Yep, we're not doing it, coach. Not today. And I go, ah. Same thing. Illegal procedure, as I said. Again, I like calling delay game a delay game signal because, as John said, this gives us a whole bunch of nothing, right? If you're not very loud verbally, this gives you nothing in the stands or as coaches, right? I'm very loud, if you can't tell by now, so I give you both, right? We're delay a game. This one, again, across the field gives a very clear signal that is the delay game, in my opinion. Same thing if the mouthpiece is dangling or things like that. correct it the best we can. The ball gets withheld in the stick, right? Also, the same thing, it's stuck or the stick goes flying, right? And the kid is playing within the scrimmage area without a stick. We give it one of these and we're pointing, right? We can also do a withhold if it's truly caught in the stick. Either is correct. This again is our international for signal for I have no idea what I'm calling right now. So somebody just make sure that we're going to go that way with it, right? And the same thing is if you really get caught with something, throw that signal out, right? To your partner. Hey, do you have one of these? I go, yeah, absolutely. I had a cross check 3 minutes to the face. I know you did too. Perfect. We're on the same page, right? Come together, the same thing of, hey, Dick, can we talk? Go run over and right, you can kind of do one of these is fine. I think one of these kind of look bad. If you kind of give one of these and the side eye thing, Dick knows what that means and we're coming to talk real quick, right? Is lean on your veteran if you need to. I have no idea what number I just called on, but that kid got smashed and he got an elbow. Cool. Legal body check, 1 minute. I think it was 13. Yeah, that sounds good, right? Is you can converse. And again, we're out there to help one another. Same thing playing from out of bounds. Once the player has touched something out of bounds, they are now fully out of bounds. They need to reestablish back in bounds, if that makes sense. Most common is you have 1 foot on the line, you're still trying to get a loose ball, is where we see it. Illegal screens. I know we're up against it here, so I'll just run through these. Illegal screen, again, similar to basketball or most sports, you need to be within the frame. Your stick, which is going to be my magic marker right now, is going to be up and down, perpendicular, right? It should be close to my chest as well. It's not sideways. It's not sticking out. That's called the Canadian box screen pick. Those drive me nuts because you just smash a guy's hip, right? Up and down, you want to be within your shoulder frame, as we call it, with your feet. You're not leaning, you're not moving. Have some discretion, especially with smaller players, physical stature, smaller players. If they flinch a bit or if they get brushed and they take a little bit back, we're not necessarily calling the moving pick every time, if that makes sense. We're going to give them some deference to it. If they are moving into it, right? Or if they literally take 3 steps back because they got contact, we call that's moving, that's not stationary, right? But that kid who kind of moves in, and you see it sometimes, again, we saw it the other day, a huge kid was coming right at him and literally kind of did one of these and came right back. It's human reaction. We're not going to penalize a kid for thinking that he's about to get, I thought he was dead, but again, fortunately it wasn't. We're not going to penalize somebody for that. Again, the leaning one, not being set, the same thing. We're seeing those jump screens come in the game, even in JV. Sometimes they don't know what they're doing. They just run like jump at a kid. No, we're going that way. Thanks. Have a good one. You can explain it to them too. You don't have to go over explaining to it, but especially if they're younger, tell them what they did. They leaned, they were wide, whatever. Especially if you blow it, we're going out, back in, and that person comes over, sir, hey, you were just too wide. Your feet were too wide or you leaned. You can be super cordial. You can be very quick on it. And then it's addressed. It's also correctable. Now you're going back down the field. And now we just very proactively officiated the next play, if that makes sense. We'll just say a quick one. He's leaning, right? Good call. Our legal contacts, I think these are fairly simple within these of anything that's holding the player, right? Anything that gets within the neck, we might have something egregious. Our hold is kind of our lower level foul again, right? It's just a possession change. If it gets straight in his neck, we're going to call it. Sometimes if we see the chin of the helmet gets lifted, we might just call it a hold. If it wasn't vicious, it was accidental, right? Just kind of caught him and it just went up a little bit, we might call a hold. Again, remember those loose balls. We want to control the game in those scrums sometimes. Is we don't have to make up a foul, but if you see something that's even 50-50 in a scrum that the ball's been there for a couple minutes and it's a dirt patch field, we might want to pick the ball up and put it in a stick, right? So again, don't make something up, but if you see something that might be close, call it, get the ball moving. And again, the context, when we see body and stick matched up, we don't like those. We want stick on stick. We want body on body on most things we do.
And what do you, okay.
I was just going to say the last one too is if somebody's laying on a player, that's a hold as well. That's the easy hold. We saw it the other day. The same thing is he went to like bear hug the kid for whatever reason on the ground. We called it a hold. It's just weird, right? We're like, go. And he's like, well, I didn't do anything. We're like, you hugged him. Go.
Okay, quick bonus question. The player holds him and then grabs him and kind of throws him down to the ground. So it's an excessive violation of holding. What do we call that?
Unsportsmanlike.
No,
Unnecessary roughness.
there you go.
Oh, there you go.
You got it.
Oh, that's Gordon. So around the neck, right? Is that one? And then, oh, no, we did. Pushing, again, anything from the backside, right, that we see, it can be within possession, right? So if we see a push with possession, we're throwing a flag. If it's a loose ball, right, all we're doing, again, to John's point, we can be an illegal body check or it can be unnecessary, right? If it's egregious, right? If it's a routine, as I say, run of the mill, right, push. And again, some of those can be forceful and violent too and not be over the line, right? A defenseman who just wants to shove a kid and get a reset, that's a good defenseman, in my opinion. Just shove him, make sure that he goes down and gets the call and gets a whistle. That's fine. If you're shoving the kid with all your might to injure him, we might now escalate to a personal foul. So we're going to see this player in white. I don't think I optimized. My apologies if that's all jittery on you. And then again, we just have interference in a non-goalie variety, right? That's player on player. Think of if the ball is outside 5 yards is our most common one, right? Can also be in flight within 5 yards, but we want to make sure we're not, in high school, we have that blind side idea. And then on the other side, we will generally see it on the crease area of not letting somebody go through. Holding somebody inside could be either a hold or an interference. You don't have to nitpick on these. Can also be the same thing. You're running down the field and you've set a screen or you prevented somebody from getting the ball. You'll see those a little bit more common on clears where you see an interference as well. Is the same thing. Somebody's still engaged, right? And then somebody picks up the ball and that person engaged makes an additional move, if that makes sense. If they're still engaged and they come out of it, we're usually going to let it go. Yes, John.
You'll also sometimes see a defensive player just smack the stick out of an attacker's hands. He's near the crease and he just hits it and knocks it out. And it's not within 5 yards of a loose ball.
Yeah, just dumb stuff. Very dumb. Oh, we'll do one quick one on these. In the middle here. Here you go. As John just said, smacked a stick. He can't play anymore, right? And so again, we want to call that. Quick one too, stalling. If we feel we don't have a shot clock within high school, if we feel that a team is truly not trying to go to the cage in an effort to score, we may call a stall. So that call is we make an L towards the goal, right? And our scenario is a get it in, keep it in scenario. So they need to go within the attack area. That includes that they have to be inside of the alley. So the alley lines and the restraining line, they have to be inside of that, what we call the box. And they go, and then there's a set of parameters. It is generally a shot or hitting a post will then satisfy, or a goal. It always drives me crazy when we have to list a goal on that one. There is a rule where if we are 4 goals or less in the last 2 minutes of the game, this is an automatic call. So we will warn them. At the 2 minute and 10 second mark, we will say, get it in. We will then start our 10 count. It is weird that we kind of do that because if they technically go in at 2:05, we don't really call it yet. But then at the 2 minute mark, then we go keep it in, and then they have to stay in the box from there on out on it.
And it's being ahead by 4 goals or less. If it's tied, there's no automatic stall in the last 2 minutes.
Correct. That's a good point. It's the team that is winning who gets the stall. Conducts, as we said, I'm just going to go. I laughed. This is still in there. Such a good chirp still. It is so generic, but it is so good in my humble opinion. Use your ladder, right? Our ladder is we have different ranks to go. Same thing on technical fouls. We have a 30-second, or excuse me, we first can take the ball away. That's super important. Then we can go 30 seconds. Then we can go a minute. We can go 2. We can go 3. And we can go ejection, right? We have a big ladder. You don't have to skip rungs. I've skipped rungs before. It usually doesn't work out in my favor, right? If you try your best to use the ladder, right? And the easiest one, same thing. There was a televised game the other day and you saw it. End of the game, it was a couple goals. It was 2 rival teams playing. You just heard a whistle and all you heard was conduct foul on white and the ball's going the other way. And the best part about that, the official doesn't need to do anything else. Every coach on that sideline is screaming at that player for doing something bad for his team. right? The message gets sent loud and clear. We are not going to tolerate that, right? So we can use those. Don't be afraid to use those as well. We don't want to escalate to immediately throwing people out. But if you feel something is out of line, truly out of line, or it is a threat, or is completely derogatory towards you or something else, right? Again, we'll let you use your own moral compass within that. You may call a conduct call, and that's it. My biggest one, when a player stands over another player, I have zero threshold. It drives me not, I don't know why in my life, it drives me crazy. You see a big hit and that kid decides to just drag all of his legs over that other kid. You're going for an extra minute. There's zero tolerance for that on me. That's a regular unsportsmanlike. If a kid says, hey, you suck, that was bad, and it's low, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to verbally reprimand them, right? We can use warnings. We can go through it. If the kid is going to scream and yell, we had that the other day too. He said, you're absolute garbage. You're terrible and your mom hates you. And he yelled as loud as humanly possible. I laughed on the inside, but I took the ball away. Right. Right. I was like, what does mom have to do with it? Right? Again, it wasn't egregious. He didn't curse him out or anything else, but it was loud and it was after a goal. I don't need that because if we keep letting that go, more bad stuff happens, right? So it's a maintenance call. We take the ball away. That kid gets pulled. The coach lights him up. I'm good. The kid comes back on and literally next time goes, sir, I'm sorry. I go, you don't need to apologize to me. And he goes, no, coach said I literally have to. I go, excellent. You got a good coach, right? We're in business today.
Just
So
remember,
use-
let me just
go
hold on, go back one for just a second. Just remember on the unsportsmanlike conduct, it's different with a coach than it is with a player in terms of the maximum time you can give. The most you can give for maximum time on the coach is 1 minute. Even if you're ejecting, it's 1 minute, whereas with players, 1, 2, or 3.
And again, you can be honest with them, right? You can, again, admit if you didn't see something. Coach, I didn't see it. This is what I have, right? We can ask. I do it all the time. As it might sound like it, even when I coached, I didn't mind when they said, hey, we're going to have to ask him. I say it, coach, my partner's 5 yards away. We're going to have to ask him when he comes back over or in the quarter, right? That will buy you some time. Coach still might not like it, but I say the same thing of, hey, he's 5 yards away. We're both 6 yards away. I have to trust his judgment. I've also had coaches go, are you sure about that? And you have to be respectful because he's your partner. And you go, yes, I do, right? Even if sometimes it's not the greatest call. So again, remember those flashpoints. Remember to talk into it. And then we got one more thing after this. I know we're over. Our flashpoints after goals, right, is going to be, we want to watch as a trail. What is the number one job as trail? Together, ready?
Watch a shooter.
Shooter, right? Still watch that shooter. Watch that pile. Watch that celebration pile, right? Watch if that player's calling undue attention or mouthing off themselves. Could be the attackman, right? That just scored it. Could be the other kid who set a pick and did nothing. I've had a lot of that in my career. Kid who's done absolutely nothing is the biggest trash talker. We're going to watch him, right? He's the idiot kid. We also want to watch all the defensemen and everybody else. It's usually not the goalie. Sometimes it is the goalie. Sometimes the goalie's the hothead, right? Know who you got around the crease, stoppages of play, big out of bounds hits can cause those when players are crossing, as we said, substitutions in general, and then definitely after those big hits. If you're throwing a flag, be on high alert that another flag might be coming. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. Just be aware those are our flashpoints. I don't know why those are those. Yeah, I don't know why we even have to still put this, but this is the world we live in. If you hear anything that is racial, gender-based, homophobic, I have zero tolerance for it. I've gone 3 minutes full ejection, first offense, if that makes sense. Same thing in my rule of they are minors sitting at the table a lot of the time. Do not overly talk to them. Do not talk to the trainers in an unprofessional manner. Same thing. In my opinion, we need to honor the game at all times. It has no place within the sport, any of that stuff. I've heard it very few times, but the times I had, zero tolerance, you're gone. That's it. Make sense on that one? That's my quick soapbox. Go ahead, Dick.
Rob, too, the lead that's coming in to signal that goal, ref with your ears when you come in. Don't quickly try to get the ball from the goalie. Listen and make sure the players separate before you get the ball and move on. Because that's where you'll hear a lot of, trash talking and stuff.
And that would be not necessarily a penalty, but conduct, no face off going after the ball.
Correct. Yep.
Exactly.
Remember your ladder, right? The most important thing within the game, we can take the ball away most times, right? In a scenario, if they don't have the ball, we don't have a lot of choice. So sometimes, right, we might eat it. We might eat that flag, right? In terms of if the defenseman does it, right? If it happened on one side, the attackman mouthed off, we didn't call it, and then the defenseman, right, on a different team does it, we don't want to penalize that defenseman if that was that first time, if that makes sense, right? We might wait till they get the ball the next time their attack gets the ball, right? Or something like that, and have a much shorter leash for that team, if that makes sense. Again, that game management will come with time, but kind of understanding that is especially the same thing. If you don't call it, not to be like you got to call it both ways, phrase drives me crazy, right? But the idea of you don't want to have a huge leash for one kid and then somebody doesn't have the ball and then just have a shorter leash and then immediately go to penalty. That's not fair. Very last important thing here is our correction of errors, right? If you make a mistake, it's okay. Admit to it very quickly. We've had scenarios. I will tell the very brief story. It did a game. It was a person's like second or third game all time. We literally had 100% an offside. I could have swore he saw the offside. He didn't call the offside. And then they went around for a bit. We had an end line inbound, and then they had a quick pass and then a goal. My partner's going, slowest thing on the earth, right? So same thing. I go, okay, we got a goal. Come over. I go, you had that off. He goes, do you have offsides too? I go, we did. We did have it. He goes, what are we going to do? I go, we're going to wave the goal off. He goes, I don't think we can do that. I go, watch this, right? Just I'll lean on your veteran in that scenario, right? Talk to him. Hey, coach, we had an offside well before that end line play. We know it was an offside. We just agreed. Took a second. We should have blown it earlier. We did not. The goal has to come off the board. We're going to restart the ball there, going out. Everyone's going to have time for subs. No coach has ever made a complaint after that, ever, right? As even as mad as they are, they will understand that you just went through a whole process, right? To get to that conclusion, you're trying to do what's fair. And so again, correct your mistake, understand it, don't dwell on it, don't give your partner crap, talk about it halftime or after the game are the best times. Call them in the car on the way home. That's the best time to talk about it. Pick your partner up. It happens. If you need to do it, be loud, be clear, take your time. It's okay. If it's a simple point, right, point the wrong way, it's fine. You report, coach, read the wrong number, right? Let's put them in. We're good. Everybody gets 20 seconds. Same thing we had on Saturday. We literally couldn't get a number. We had 4 penalties in the same play. I'll just leave it at that. We literally couldn't get one of the numbers. Coach, we have 2 options here. Either you know who did that and you can put them in the box. We're going to put your in-home in the box because we can't identify what number. Guess who walks in the box 3 seconds later? The kid who did it, right? We're all good. Is because they don't want that attackman off the field, right? And so again, everyone's going to work with you if you're honest and transparent, right? If you're going to make it up, go, no, it was 54, the kid with the broken foot. That's just a good partner. That's not a good call, right? Is ask the coach, we couldn't catch a number. It was a lot of chaos. We're not sure. You either can put them in yourself or we can take the in-home, your call. And the coach is going to do whatever they want to do, right? And that's fine. And we live by it. With that said, remember your keys. Remember advantage, disadvantage. Remember, we're looking for whales, not minnows, as we said. We're going to go through a game video next week. And we're going to go through it. We're going to talk about stuff. We'll have 2 officials. That one plays the lead and one plays the trail. They're going to talk us through what are 2 officials who you will meet at the clinic. They're amazing people. We're going to go through it and watch it. The 10th is going to be in person. That is Sunday, not Monday. We are going to go that Monday still as our final training. We're going to go over the test exam. So if you do it, you're going to send it to John and I. I think we're going to do the PDF version is how we're going to do it. And then we're going to go over and give you the answers and go through them all. And then each one of you should have a scrimmage on the 23rd. It may or may not have been released yet. I can't remember if they were. I don't think they were, but you're planning on the 23rd at some point. You're going to be go reffing. To Dick's point, we have either was it this weekend?
Yeah,
this weekend
Sunday,
is the
March
clinic.
3rd. Yeah, Cheshire High. Yeah,
is at Cheshire, or on the 17th out at Groton, if that's closer for some of you as well. It's the youth clinic, but again, gets you a lot of reps as well, is not a bad thing to go. And again, if you are in the middle of the state area and you want to try to get a game in or two, Dick does a whole bunch of indoor stuff as well, can try to get you hooked up in some things, and then go watch games. If you still have questions on what games to find or who you want to go to see, ask myself. I can even tell you probably who's reffing those games in a good way, because sometimes you want to listen to their pregame, go in, they have no qualms of you coming into the locker room, listen to them, hanging out, that kind of stuff, even at halftime. We had one official last year sat in the table area the whole game to watch a 3-man because they never saw a 3-game. It was super awesome. And we talked to them the whole time. So sound good on all that. Thank you for letting me keep you 15 plus a little early, but we got everything in. You're now perfect officials. Go out and make bad calls. And the best advice I'll leave you on this one is always be in the right position to make the wrong call. Right. So with that, onward, and I'll see you next week.
You have a sec? Can I grab you for a sec?
Yeah.
Have a good
We'll
night,
stay on to the
guys.
last person.
Right, thanks.
Don't forget to set your clocks on clinic day too.